Huh? This garage is a mess. Just set it wherever. Get in where you fit in, girl. There you go.
The
Sure.
child sounds like an adult.
Just set it wherever. Not on top of the fish tank.
Are you giving power tools to minors?
What
I
a
don't
way to
know.
start.
She just came walking in with a drill, and I'm like, "What are you doing with that, buddy?"
She's like, none of your business, Dad.
And she's like, "Where does it go?" I'm like, "Have you seen the garage? It's a mess. Like, put it wherever you want, except on top of the fish tank."
It's gonna be a Home Depot ad.
Yeah, we're here. It's Monday.
Yes, it is.
It's hot.
Oh, yes, it is.
It's Monday. What time is it? I don't know. I'm
9:08 p.m. East Coast.
My child threw me off my train of thought that I was on.
Your game? Threw you off your game?
Yeah. This is episode 265 of Snakes and Stogies, which is brought to you by fullvsapparel.com. Check it out. Hats, hoodies, shirts, coffee mugs, in situ line UPF shirts available. Daytona pickup is still available. For whatever reason, the last 3 days, I've had 3 people hit me up wanting bulk shirts for me to take to Daytona. So now I'm starting to get worried that I'll be able to fit everything in the car.
Just put it on people's laps.
Well, we're picking up Phil King from the airport in Savannah with Joe Rosa.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have my bag, Danielle's bag, Rose's bag, Phil's bag, at least 3 boxes of shirts. I don't know. I'm gonna have to find some smaller boxes. They're not massive orders, but
and that also kind of messes me up because I was gonna do one this week. So
the individual orders are fine, but
okay.
I'd have just some orders some people have placed for 12 plus shirts, 20 shirts, whatever. So
okay.
It's just stacking up, but I ain't mad about it. I need that ton of money.
Good problem to have.
We got a tree to take out in the backyard today, and I found out that it's going to be about $2,000. So, yay, homeownership. So the moral of the story is go buy shirts. Use the code THN at checkout. It's 15% off your order. That's the exclusive coupon code for THN listeners and viewers like you. And then hop on over to coldbloodedcaffeine.com. Get the coffee. Snakes and Stogies blend is where it's at. They have a lot of stuff on there. A lot of different options, a lot of blends, a lot of affiliate blends, a lot of house blends. I am very positive that you will not be disappointed with any of them. But we're biased, so get the Snakes and Stogies one. Use the code SMOKE. That'll get you 10% off your order. And I hope to see Trey at Daytona. I need to text him. I need to hit him up, see if he's going. They don't usually vend, but he attended last year or the year before last, one of the two. So we'll see. But
man.
What are you smoking this evening?
I'm smoking the brand new San Cristobal Golden Hour.
Wow. Made with real parrot.
Made with real macaw. It's supposed to be pretty good.
It smells great. Wrapped in macaw feather.
Yeah. It smells glorious.
I have not seen that yet.
It's brand new from San Cristobal.
Most of the San Cristobal stuff is solid. Does it for me. Some of them I've had where I'm kind of underwhelmed, but still a good smoke. It's not decent.
I'm excited.
I gotta start getting my cigar stash together for Daytona, actually.
Oh, yeah. 'Tis the season. I also want to flex a little. The little cigar club I have going on with Cigar Grail in Fort Lauderdale, they're Les Bleu dealers. And I've been eyeballing a particular lighter for some time. And seeing as how it was recently my birthday, those fine chaps all sprung together to buy me my very first Les Bleu.
Ball out, young blood.
Isn't that gorgeous? Made in Paris.
Very slim, very, very elegant.
Very slim, very elegant.
Le Cordon Bleu.
Decadence. What are you smoking, man?
This new My Father La Leotard.
Leotard. Oh, the pink.
Leotard. I don't know.
Nice.
It just came out within the last couple weeks. I smoked the Toro right as Raj got him in. Really wasn't all that impressed, so I saw the Gordo on the shelf because I was like, I gotta do something different this week. So I'm gonna give this 660 a try. As much as I hate to say it, I don't have high expectations, but as we've mentioned before, the ring gauge and the blends, sometimes a blend is made for a 660. Sometimes it's made for a Toro. Sometimes it's made for a Corona. Just, we never know. So
yeah, man,
we're going to give it a shot, see how it goes. I dropped my monster, so now it leaks all over my chest.
You dented it?
Yeah, it bent right at the mouthpiece. So
sad panda. Damn. But that should be a good smoke. Are we ready to dive into it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have updates wise. I don't have a whole lot. Email house snake that I got from Jason Keller is gravid, so that's cool. I'm gonna have something to produce this year, hopefully, if they're good. I don't have very high expectations for them being good. I don't know. We'll see. Female Bacillotharia striata died, so that's cool.
Damn.
So not breeding those anytime soon. Gonna send that male up to Phil.
Damn.
King.
Sorry, bro.
It's a weird one. I don't know what happened, but I'm sure we'll talk about it on Thursday. I think we're going to try and record Arachnids, and then Jake just got back from Texas, so I'm assuming they're doing Flippin' 10 later this week.
Yes, he did.
I got to get with him and ask, but maybe we'll do Arachnids Wednesday instead of Thursday. That way there's not overlap. People got to choose their favorite child of the group. So we'll see. Other than that, yeah, I mean, there's nothing new really going on. I wasn't sure if that house snake was gravid or not, but then over the weekend, I was looking at her and I was like much more obvious, and I palpated her a little bit and I could definitely feel them. So there's something in there. Whether they're good or not is to be seen, but
okay.
I wasn't sure that took. I kept that male in with her twice for several weeks, and homeboy was attached at the hip, like was always with her, like would not leave her alone. I kind of felt bad, but I guess he got the job done. So
hell yeah, man, that's awesome.
Gave her a lay box. She did shed like the week before last. I thought maybe that would be a pre-lay, but I don't think it is because she's much more obviously gravid now. So I think whatever shed she has next will be a pre-lay. So we're just playing it by ear and seeing what happens.
Good stuff, man. I share your exact sentiment. I thought the silver subox didn't go, and now my big female is looking really fat, like thick. And so I put a lay box in there, and we'll see if she sheds and see what she does. I honestly, she hasn't shed in a long ass time, so who knows? She doesn't look milky at all, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. It was just crazy, like instant thickness growth. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
That'd be cool if those go though.
That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. Awesome possum.
Seeing the subox that Jake was sending pictures of, and seeing yours and some other ones I've seen online, kind of has me missing them a little bit.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, sir. And I won't lie, I was really paranoid about the room. So if people will forgive me, I'm gonna give some temp updates. So right now, I'm sitting outside. It's 84 degrees Fahrenheit and 76% humidity, only because there's a breeze. And there's like a legitimate breeze, like trees are moving. However, in the desert room, it's 80. Well, now I'm losing the Wi-Fi. Hold on. 82 degrees Fahrenheit and 42% humidity. And the egg box is 1.7 degrees hotter. So we're holding.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm very excited. Terrified and excited. Same time.
They're tough,
emotion.
man. You got it, and you can do it.
Yeah. We're rolling. But it is a special time. It's July. You know what that means? It means the salamanders are a-walking.
The gummy lizards are moving.
It means the frogs, they are a-chirping, a-hopping, a-slopping. It's Frog Week, kids.
2026.
Hey, Aaron. What's up,
What's
bro?
up, Phil? How's it going? I'm good.
Your filter makes your hair look like it's underwater.
Like a mermaid.
Like
It's
a
a
like
ceiling
a
fan.
merman. It's a merman. Yes.
It's just my hair blowing in the wind.
Well, Aaron, welcome back. For those who don't know, Aaron puts together a fantastic program called Frog Week annually. This is our third or fourth?
Third, I think.
I think it's our fourth.
I think it's our fourth.
Do
I
you?
think it's the fourth.
I think it is.
I
We're going to have to
don't
go back
think-
and look. People should go back and watch the previous content. Aaron, why don't you fill in the new listeners about yourself and Woods and Forests and throw us into it, bro. Frog Week, rock and roll.
Well, thank you. It's good to be here again with you guys. It's been a long time. Feels like it's been a while. I've been catching some of the shows off and on, just chaos on Mondays, I think, for everybody. But yeah, I'm excited to be here. So for the new listeners, even though like this is my fourth time, I will say that I'm the president and founder of PA Woods and Forests, which is a 501c3 nonprofit. We focus on ecology, so a lot of invertebrates, amphibians, reptiles, carnivorous plants, and we build habitats for them. We also go out and monitor their populations. I do presentations. I just got back from, I was at a library, and then before that, a nursing home today.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, a lot of cool stuff that we have a chance. And when I say that, it probably sounds either like really boring or like there wasn't a lot of people. But I think the library, we had like around 40 people or so, and then the nursing home was packed. Okay, we had like 25 people. The wheelchairs were lined up. But in all honesty, that is real though. But in all honesty, so yeah, our organization, we work with the conservation of reptiles and amphibians. This time of the year primarily is focused on, I think explaining it a little bit differently will help, but human animal conflict zones, I think, is really where Frog Week has separated itself from a lot of other projects, because if it's in your backyard, if it's on the road, if it's somewhere that they're harvesting timber, or if there's some kind of like water pollution, there's a lot of places that are not very great for frogs, especially right now. And so that's the primary place that we go and try to conserve them. The other part is deep forest, if we can go out and like search for frogs that are more reclusive or frogs that you might not see as much. So the idea behind it is 6 months of field work, going in and doing population counts and monitoring them. We use iNaturalist. We're, like I said, doing habitats that we're building. We're also doing a bioacoustics research project, and that's what the nonprofit does. The media brand itself, I actually had to create on its own, because at the time they were all together, but our treasurer did not want to do taxes. So I separated it out and I created my own, like, if you will, like independent contractor business, where I have shows on YouTube. I have an Instagram page, a website. I'm hired out for drone missions, and I'll do all kinds of other stuff. But this time of the year, I'm filming for the nonprofit. So I put the Woods and Forests media stuff on hold to film what the nonprofit does, whether that's, again, the habitats or going out and making an episode about each of the 8 species. And we're finally to a point where Woods and Forests Media can finally have some episodes in the project too, which I think is fair for representation. It's also partnered with Josh's Frogs, who has been a part of it since the inception in 2019. So they've donated money to actually put the lights on for some of my tanks. They also have awarded us winning some grants that were voted by the public. But yeah, we won those grants for bioacoustics. So a lot of cool stuff we could talk about for both the organization and the media brand. The way I've been saying this today, I think people got it. Imagine Elon Musk, whether however you feel about him politically, but like SpaceX and Tesla are under the same umbrella from the same guy, and it's kind of like that for me. They're two different operations, two different organizations, like a business and a nonprofit. I just happen to be at the top of both.
Very cool, man. Very cool. Well said. So this year, how are the critters? How is the home stuff? We'll start with that, I guess.
That's good because we haven't really had a chance to. I haven't had a chance to dive into a whole lot of that. Um, I think that overall, I think that it's good. The toad tank is getting ready. You're gonna love this, Phil. The toad tank is gearing up. I actually haven't finished their episode for Frog Week, so it's kind of crazy to say that live. But there is one episode that's elusive, and it's I think happened last year too. But people have to understand it's the flagship show of my media brand, and when you end the season, so like our calendar year, think of like the Super Bowl, WrestleMania, the college football championship, the whatever, like for whatever sport, they end on a high note. Well, for us, the calendar year for the nonprofit and the media brand ends on Frog Week. So that's whenever seasons conclude. That's when field work is done, everything. So I'm trying to tell the story about my flagship enclosure, and it's got to be over the top because like that's what was promised in
It's the
February.
flagship. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're gonna face off with the ants. There's just throw that out there. It's been 4 years in the making, uh, and it's been one thing that a lot of people have been really excited to see. I think that right now, Ananias, who is the surprise star of the show, is going to surprise people. I think he is going to go after them because you got to figure they're a smaller insect now. Some of these toads have gotten bigger, and what do they do when they see them? I have no answer for you in captivity. I don't know that anybody really does. Who's actively been raising an ant colony alongside their toads, and then like the ants are a pet themselves, but they're also going to be a feeder. Like I don't know of too many people that are doing that. So
Especially in something fairly tropical. Like I know there's some guys and gals that do some ant stuff with like horned toads, horned lizards, that sort of thing, and some deserty stuff. But and like I know there's a couple guys that do like desert biomes, and they'll have like some carpenter ants in there with like a scorpion and some other stuff. But to do it in a fairly, I don't want to say tropical, but a more
like
humid,
temperate.
swamp, temperate, right, deciduous, if you will.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome. Do you mind, not to interject too much into it, but do you mind breaking down like the flagship tank and kind of give the listeners what's going on and why it is so special?
Yeah, absolutely. So for the Woods and Forests media brand, I have an educator permit for reptiles and amphibians. It's like a white list in Pennsylvania, and I'm allowed to have a certain number. What I did with it, I chose to get animals from places that are like road rescues. Maybe the animal's wounded, their habitat's no longer there. So a lot of different things. Um, I have been building these big tanks, and I have really wanted to put them over the top, but nothing more, I'd say, advanced than the toad tank. So they're in a 242 gallon enclosure. It's acrylic. I think it might be 3/8. It's a thick acrylic tank, and they have holes drilled in for different gadgets that I was going to apply later, which now I have. They have exhaust fans like you would have for a bathroom, pushing air into the tank. I actually just got a second one, so I'm excited about that. They experience a sunrise, a sunset. There's a thunderstorm that they've just gone through that'll be in the episode. They can have fog storms. There's all kind of like lightning. I mean, these animals legitimately have sounds that I've either gone out into the field and recorded, or I've mashed together and for different seasons. So there's artificial enrichment and stimulation all across the board. Different types of water quality. I have rain barrels. I have reverse osmosis systems. I'm actually going to get a tabletop one here soon. I have all kinds of trees planted in the backyard, like a river birch tree, and even some like backyard trees, like apple trees, to get that good leaf litter mix, like that, what you would expect to see in a suburban woodland like area, and that's where these animals actually live, a lot of them. So I wanted to get what my inspiration was in the field, what I'd actually seen, and I wanted to bring that inside. So uh, just talking about these animals currently, because their history dates back to a much deeper story about Ace, but just staying on for this situation, yeah, these tanks are very different from a lot of other people, like a shoebox size tank for a toad. Like they actually have running water right now. Like they're like the Romans. They have gotten some crazy stuff in their tanks, a waterfall. Um, like I said, I mean, they're literally going to go through a sunset probably while we're talking. Um, and it's made to be unorthodox. You know, I think the best way to describe it, a lot of tanks are kind of like devoid of action and activity, but I think that this tank is made to be literally like action. So frogs and toads in the wild, they do still compete with each other. It might not be in close quarters as much as what you would see in captivity, but you would still see them in competition. So this is more so the story about an ecosystem and who overtakes that, who becomes the dominant animal. Whether people want to believe it or not, it doesn't really matter if it's great tree frogs, Italian wall lizards, or toads, American toads. They all still are trying to dominate the resources. Who sits in the water the longest? Who eats the most? Like who guards the food bowl? Yeah, they do, and they'll wrestle each other. They'll try to starve each other. Simulation like that, competition is good, but you need to understand also about carrying capacity and about ecological niche and different things that we're going to talk about actually. And what's making this different and evolving over the time that I've been doing it is now understanding the target audience is actually schools that are sharing this in classrooms, but from kindergarten to college. So I want the kids who are younger to have something to see the animals and the insects and say, wow, that's cool. Maybe hearing them call even, but the adults like understanding like concepts about ecology. Like this could be something somebody could actually learn to use.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the goal for season 3. If you guys are invert guys, which I know you are, we're going to talk about the ecology of the different feeder insects, and it's going to be a big priority to educate the students about that primarily.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So, do you want to give us not the full thing per se, if you don't want to, but give us a rundown of Ace?
Yeah. Yeah. So the Toads tank started with a promise, and that was due to a toad that I found. It was it's been a while now, but I found her in a pot that was in the ground. So at a plant nursery, there's some places that'll dig holes in the ground to put trees, and they'll put a pot in the ground and then another pot where the tree is. And when they take them out in the summer, um, I think they put them in the ground so that way they don't freeze in the winter. But in
Right.
the summertime, they take them out of the pot and move them wherever. So it's almost essentially a pitfall trap for a
Mm-hmm.
frog or a toad. So it was, I think, 2016. I was going to the plant nursery that I'd worked at for a long time. Just happened to be going down where those pots were, and I found this one toad. Decided, oh, she looks pretty cool. She just was colorful, didn't look like the rest of them at the time, and I'm like, I'm gonna take this one home. And um, it was good. I learned a lot from her personality, but there was a point where I was so new to everything too. I didn't really get into anything. Like I wasn't. I didn't go to. I wasn't even in college at that time. That was before I really got into biology or anything like that. So I didn't really understand myself, like the parasites that they could carry or what the buildup would look like in the tanks. And she ended up getting very sick, and the doctor was going to put her down. And I just said, I'm not going to deal with that. So I called the Pittsburgh Zoo, and they don't really do a whole lot with like reptiles and amphibians. I think they have a lot of snakes now, but they don't. They have like one or two frogs. They gave me the number of a vet in Pittsburgh. I called like the wrong vet apparently. I don't know, but it turned out to be at the time the place that actually saved her life, and she was prolapsing to the point where it was like consistent. And yeah, so she ended up recovering, and I said I'm not going to let that happen ever again. So um, I made the decision I was going to learn whatever I needed to, everything I could to make a difference with the animals that are in the wild because of the impact that she left on me, but also I was going to build her something since she wasn't going back to the wild and she lived in quarantine for a period of time. I just felt horrible for a toad to have to live in it, and what I talk about, the shoebox, until she was healthy and strong enough to go back into a tank. And it was a couple of years, but the promise was I wanted to build the most aggressive, like most advanced private citizen enclosure for an American toad that I possibly could. And so it took a long time to figure out what can you actually do in a tank. And I'm sure I'm only scratching the surface, but with actually having like weather conditions and trying to propagate plants and getting different types of feeder insects. So I went on, and that was just part of it. She also had inspired Frog Week. I mean, that's one thing. You
Yeah.
think about it, one frog created a nonprofit, uh, created a conservation project that's now 8 years deep with other frogs and toads that have now gotten on the cover of things. Like if it wasn't for Ace, I don't think that some of these other guys that I have now would have even had a chance. So she kind of opened that door for a lot of other frogs and toads to become ambassador animals within my own stuff, within my own, like the media brand and things like that. So the impact that Ace had, is very special because I'm somebody that goes out to the field to try to help these animals, and then I come home and I still have it. Like some people in the field,
Yeah.
they leave it in the field, but like for me, I'm coming home to gray tree frogs and toads. I don't just leave it in the field. So to me, it matters a lot more than, um, oh, I'll go and see him again next year. It's like, no, like I'm going to see him in a couple minutes when I get home. So yeah, it really started all of this, a conservation project, a media brand, a nonprofit. Our conversation, it really came from a toad that fell into a pod in the ground at a plant nursery.
That's wild, man. And she's still around?
Well, Phil, so sadly that's not happening.
Damn.
She passed away.
Damn.
It was hard.
She had a hell of a run though, man.
Yeah, she did.
Hell of a run.
It took me a while to comprehend, like to put it into perspective, like what she actually did, like what her legacy is, because that's kind of where we're at with it. You think about Frog Week, and I'm like, that really is a part of her legacy, because if it wasn't for Ace, I wouldn't have had the interest to want to do that. And how many kids I interact with in these schools, going to these classrooms. We just talked about even the nursing home, like giving people at least something positive to see while they're shut-ins, and what that can actually mean for people, what that does for people. But so her legacy, and like all the animals that we help, all the ones we rescue, and the habitats we build, the tadpoles that we move that have a chance to live and become baby frogs and toads, like all of that, like that's crazy to think how much of an impact that really is. But it's actually deeper than that, and I found the second half of it this year. So I got the educator permit because of Ace, and if I didn't have Ace, I wouldn't have the educator permit, like at all, period. Well, there's not going to be another Ace whose box office that people are going to come from other states to see. But what I can tell you is, because she passed, there's other animals that have that opportunity now to experience being loved and brought into a home and given a second chance. And if it wasn't for Ace and giving me that, even that perspective, these animals are here. They're making the best of a situation that they were. I mean, she came from a plant nursery, wasn't necessarily bad, but some of them one got his wrist severed, and like one was found on a road left for dead. I mean, some of these animals, they come from some bad situations, and understanding that these animals have a chance, a second opportunity now at life, that's pretty cool. And that came from her as well, because I wouldn't have any of them if I didn't have that educator permit, if I didn't have Ace. So
that's great, man.
That's rescue really animals too.
Fantastic. I'm getting flashback memories of you on the road while the ambystoma, and just just chucking salamanders, saving them. Not literally, kids, not literally.
Slinging manders.
That's the next Fulvia shirt.
Gummy
lizards.
Are you gonna Photoshop me on it?
Yeah, I'll make some weird
just be like you with
amalgamation.
A headlamp.
A headlamp in the rain with like a an old sailor's yellow raincoat and just like tossing gummy lizards.
Gotta have traffic on both sides. That
Yeah,
actually happened.
headlights coming at you.
Yeah. Yeah, that actually happened in one spot. I think it was last year. I got out for the salamander migration and I was moving them off the road, and I saw like 3 of them lined up, and I parked the car, get out and go get them. And I stand up and I look, and the cars behind me and the cars in front of me, they weren't there a minute ago, and everybody's lined up, and I'm just like, oh, I just stopped traffic for this. Like, that's kind of cool but kind of funny, and it's like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
kind of embarrassing. Excuse me. The guys they pulled up, they're like, oh, do you need help, like is your car like broke down or something? Like, I'm saving salamanders. And they're like, oh, okay, and they just rolled the window up and just took off.
Big gulps, huh? Well, see you later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
They're like, oh, he's actually crazy. I got
Yeah,
it now. Yeah, what salamanders?
Nice.
Because they probably didn't see him. They're probably thinking like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it was the voices that led me here.
Yeah, this guy's seeing and hearing things.
Yeah.
We got to get you one of those
With
long
that.
police raincoats that's like all reflective. You know?
Yeah.
Because there
I
was,
think
we were driving the other night, and there was a big female turtle, probably just a yellow-bellied slider or something, crossing a very busy road here on the island, and it was after dark and stuff. And Katie was like, "Oh, we got to go get it off the road," and I was like, "I'm sorry, but like, we will get hit if we stop this car and get out in this.
Yeah.
40 line. It's just you gotta be smart about it, because I it sucks, but I was like, look, I'm not going to get creamed by a car for a turtle. Like,
I ain't getting waffled by no slider.
and I mean, it must have made it, because I never saw it. Like the following morning on my way to work, it was never.
Now,
it wasn't a giant dead turtle anywhere, but
I might get clipped for Ambostomba. Just saying. I might get brushed by a mirror. You know.
I'm throwing a ghillie suit on.
Take that hit. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
I debated it for Prime Day. I looked at a ghillie suit. I was like, do I want to do this? Do I really want it? Because, like, I guarantee you the police see that, they're probably going to stop me at that point.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Just a guy out there in black and brown, then wearing a ghillie suit running around. Like, I don't know.
Drop the salamanders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put them on the ground.
Put them on the ground gently. Let me ask you. I've been noticing a lot of people. Okay, let me rewind this. Okay, I used to be a cigarette smoker, and it never occurred to me the amount of nicotine or smoke or chemicals, whatever, that may be on my hands. And if we found a toad or a frog in the wild, or a siren or something, because we really don't get salamanders by me. We didn't think anything of it. We just picked them up, we held them, we let them go. And I think about the possible toxification. Is that even a word? Toxifying effects. And I don't do that now, because obviously I don't smoke cigarettes anymore. But I'm very conscientious about, are my hands clean when touching amphibians, whether it be in captivity or in the wild. But I'm noticing on Instagram more and more people using latex gloves, and I think it's brilliant. I really do, especially if you're on a herp trip and you're handling different species, and now their toxins are cross-contaminating with other toxins, and the C word we don't want to talk about. Do you ever find yourself in that same situation, or is that like a thing for you?
It's a good question. So at home, I don't use lotion. I don't use any like hand cream or anything. So I don't really worry about it as much, but I also don't handle them. So what I do is target train the toads. I will hand feed the gray tree frogs, but if I'm scooping them up, it's got to be a reason. But I really don't handle mine very often.
You're not sitting on the couch playing with them.
No, I don't like watch Days of Our Lives and put the toad up and
nice.
See, I ask them how it makes them feel. Yeah. Or make the gray tree frogs watch 50 Shades of Grey or something, just to see like what color it turns them. But
they're missing out.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, so I don't worry about any of that stuff. But in terms of the wild, it depends on like how far away something is. I mean, how much you sterilize your hands. Like how I mean we could go really deep with it.
Yeah,
I mean,
I was
like
just curious.
how like what are the odds I'm gonna find a frog versus okay, if I go to 3 counties, what are the odds that one population has chytrid versus ranavirus versus like maybe neither, which would be hard to believe, but there's still some populations out there that might not,
Yeah,
hypothetically. It's a
yeah,
lot of money to test for ranavirus, but um, I think that the way that I go about it, it's definitely for like the safety of the animals. I don't, like I said, I don't wear anything on my hands. I try not to spray permethrin on my body to get rid. Which I actually had a tick this year, which
Hmm.
I was disappointed, but it didn't really stand me very long. I was downloading like pictures, getting them onto the computer, and it was like after I got done in the field, I reached back and I felt something crusty, and I'm like, oh, I knew what that was, and yeah, so I ended up getting the tick out, but he hadn't been in me for maybe more than minutes, honestly. But um, in terms of not spraying stuff on yourself, that's like the way I go about it. But a lot of these animals, if I'm working in like one population for the most part, I'm not super worried about it. Now, if I were going to a handful of populations and I were getting in the water, then that would be a different story because then you got to
Mhm.
like disinfect your boots, you got to disinfect like all your like your hands or like if you're using other gear. Um, but if you're, and I'm primarily, I mean, I do go. It's 8,000 square miles now. Like we've actually added the uh,
Wow.
the range for
Wow,
Frog Week.
man.
Good lord.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
so, so it's hours now. Like if you were to go on a round trip, just go in the perimeter of it, it would take hours, and that's not even going in the middle or any like just the outside rings of where we would travel. So I try to be careful about it, but I think also if I was like are these people doing it like herpers just because they want to go herping, or are they like weighing animals and
I think it's
maybe
both. I see some guys down in Central and South America, and they've got latex gloves on. They're holding a frog or holding a salamander for A, so they don't get toxins, and B, they're not cross contaminating something. But it seems to be both the biological science community as well as just herpers who are on photo safari, and I mean it's smart for both.
Mhm.
yeah,
Obviously, it's a lot different when you're in the Amazon than it is, in the East Coast U.S., but
yeah,
still,
yeah. I think the people in like the like Central and South Americas, yeah, I mean dart frogs and other species will definitely like actually kill you,
Right.
so that
yeah,
makes sense. For here, I mean, it just kind of depends. I don't worry about it necessarily too much, but I mean, if I were, I would have to probably raise money to get the amount of gloves I would need. I'd probably need like, if I would have to do an
Okay.
estimate,
Yeah.
$1,000 or more of just latex gloves.
I can imagine.
So like just disinfecting things and being smart about like understanding what you need to clean off or even what the role is because that I might be doing a road rescue on one road the whole night, like
Yeah,
I don't necessarily need to, but if I obviously I don't want people picking them up, so if I wear gloves to a presentation and I say, well, here's how you do it, then those kids are going to get the impression, well, I'm going to go home, buy gloves and pick them up. They don't know that there's powdered gloves that could make them,
yeah,
Yeah.
it could also kill them. Like some of the kids, they mean well. So it's like, well, if I say, guys, you don't want to touch them because your hands have oils and toxins and stuff, then they're going to believe it, right? And because they
yeah.
don't see me doing it. So I guess uh, it's a catch 22 because it's something that you should do, but it's also something you have to be like conscious about, like I guess when to do it
Sure,
or why to do it.
absolutely, absolutely. Now that's a great segue. You want to dive into the forest property?
So which one are we talking about?
Just the area where because you have multiple facilities or multiple locations, I should say, where you're focusing on tree frogs here and toads here and aquatic frogs there. Do you want to break down some of the stuff that you guys are doing in those different habitats?
Yeah. So I mean, it depends on. So the way we've done things now with backyards is, if they want to have a larger body of water, whether it's an excavator or it's like kind of the average size utility tub that we put in the ground. Um, I mean, we primarily put that in the ground for like American toads or wood frogs, and we've talked about that.
Yeah.
Um, Same thing with gray tree frogs, but another thing we also are trying to add in is like PVC tube. And I'm sure you're familiar, Phil, because like down in Florida, that's
Oh
how
yeah.
they'll actually go out on the boats and like put, the scientists will put the PVC tubes in the water and hammer them in, and then they go in and look, and it's like hundreds of frogs sleeping in the PVC tubes.
Oh yeah. I've seen it. It's amazing.
That's a way to detect them too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good, like a magnet.
Yeah.
Exactly. Um, I could share with you guys. We got a new species. This is a crazy story. I don't know if you got a chance to preview this episode, but the mountain chorus frog. So
Nice.
we just added our 8th frog to the project. So this is a story. Um, this is probably. I don't necessarily want to single out an individual, but I think this is probably going to end up being the highlight episode for at least the wild frogs. So there's different categories now, like we can break it down, but out of the 8 species, so the mountain chorus frog is on the state action plan in Pennsylvania. We had a new county that we went to. We had a lot of places actually coming to our events to try to encourage us to go to their county to actually like visit and work in the county, because there's like 3 new frog species that we didn't work with. Like, you guys are gonna laugh, but like Fowler's toads, Cope's gray tree frogs, you guys have, and then the mountain chorus frog, which we're in the most northern part of its range. So those 3, plus there's lizards and stuff too that we don't usually run into. But we finally said, you know what, we're going to go for it. So we ended up uh, going and adding that as a target county. We're building habitat for the mountain chorus frog. But this is a crazy story. So we were working with a couple like organizations. We got grants to go and build these habitats, but I'd never like seen one or really worked with them. I've heard of them and I'd like looked at them in research, but I'm like, well, it's not really a frog that I was at the time really thinking I was ever going to see. Like, if I had my bingo cards for 2026, I didn't see finding the mountain chorus frog in there. But I was gearing up to try to find like the Fowler's toad or the Cope's great tree frog. That's what I was looking for. But um, it all kind of worked out to where we ended up hearing from this one guy, and he messaged the organization we got the grant through, and he said he knew where some populations were, and he ended up taking us to see them. So that guy he's avid into rattlesnakes. Like, he goes out and he's catching them and stuff. And anyway, so yeah, he took us to the spot to go find the mountain chorus frogs. And the first night we were out there, we didn't like, none of them turned up, and it was good because I got a chance to see what their habitat looks like, where they lay their eggs and stuff. But we didn't detect any. So a couple of days went by, and I'm thinking to myself, like, oh, it's May. It was actually around Memorial Day, so I was thinking, well, eventually, these frogs are gonna come back out, or, well, like, I had been looking at state records on iNaturalist and the Pennsylvania Amphibian Reptile Survey to see if I could actually determine if they would still be out that late. And I thought, well, it's worth a shot. There were a few that had been found later in the year, which May is kind of late in the year for a frog that comes out in March to breed. So it's really late if you want to hear them calling. So it was I think it was Memorial Day, or it was that Sunday. I think it was that Sunday. I was at my house, and I'm making Frog Week videos and just hanging out. It's one of the first holidays I actually had off, but I'm hanging out, and this is actually in the video I talk about this. And I'm just thinking to myself, something was like going, like eating away at me. I'm like, man, I think that they're out there. I think that we're gonna hear them calling. I want to go back and give it another shot. Well, I get a call, or I get a message from the friend of the guy who took us to the spot, and he said, "Oh, here are the frogs," and he sent me an audio, like a video. You could hear them calling. There was a ton of them, and he's like, "By the way, the person you met has passed away." He's like around our age, so I'm like, it's bittersweet, right? Because not only do we have a frog now that we're going to add to the story? It's a whole new species, not a lot of content on YouTube about it, but now it's like I got to talk about this man's legacy because he took us to where these frogs were. He cared about them. He was like protecting them and trying to be an advocate to get them help because he didn't want to see them disappear. And it's like I'm driving down, the morale is kind of low because we have this amazing opportunity, but it's like, somebody that we had just met, but like he could have been legitimately, I was going to promote him, try to get him to the idea of wanting to be involved in our organization, like a big like a big player. Like I had high hopes for him to be in the organization. I was going to ease it into him. So I had a lot of respect for him. And so, and I'm going down to meet one of his good friends that's, goes out in the field with him. And I'm thinking,
Uh-oh.
oh, am I good?
Yeah, you're good. Sorry.
So I was just going to say, this was, I'm sorry for this being so long winded, but like this is, this is one of those where you're thinking about, okay, you're gonna honor somebody's legacy. This is a whole new discovery. I'm gonna see if I could find these frogs, and I'm just driving down there, and I had so much like just going through my mind. My mind was racing because of all this, so much to think about, unpack there, and it's a drive from where I'm located to go to that spot. So I get there, and I'm thinking, I'm determined that we're gonna find them, and my two things that I check off in the field season: don't get poison ivy and don't get a tick. Well, I already had a tick, but wasn't worried about it for this situation. And we get there and it's a whole field of poison ivy. And I'm like, oh. And we go around the backside and there's not a whole lot of it. So I looked at the guy. I was like, I'm going to go for it. And I go in and I see a mountain chorus frog. I pinpointed it. I don't know. I've never done this with a spring peeper. Maybe it was just the adrenaline and like where I was at that night. I just walked right up and saw it, like no hesitation. And there's all these vines, like Virginia creeper, poison ivy, and grapevine on this like cement platform in the middle of a mountain. And it's like kind of a steepish hillside.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going up and I just found it. And it was on this like little log piece, not even a real log, just like if it like breaks off, like, I don't want to put it, the outside of like the bark, I don't know, it's like really like frail feeling. It's not like a piece of the tree that broke off, like it's not a branch. So
Right.
so I pick it up and it just sits on the little like piece of wood and looks at me, and the others were calling in the background, and I start bringing it out, and as I bring it out, the frog looked up at me again and it jumped right off of that and went into these bushes, and I'm like, it's gone. So I'm like, we cut a little bit. I was not very happy. And I went back because the one who was calling was still there. So I go up to try to catch this mountain chorus frog. I'm like, this is like, we need this if we're going to have this episode. We could get their audio, but like, we need this video. So
Right.
I get up there. I pinpointed the one that was calling. Don't know how, but I just did. And I noticed there's like this really tall leaf of poison ivy that he's calling right underneath. There's like a little umbrella. It was like the frog was at the beach and put up the poison ivy umbrella. Yeah. So you see, I took a second here. It was like AI processing power. I had a deep think where I'm like, you know what? I have a master's degree. What can I do in this situation? So I found a piece of wood and I pulled down that leaf. I used my brain to the fullest capacity, and I had a breakthrough. So like I wouldn't get poison ivy, right? Because I pulled that leaf down, and it's one shot. I only had one moment, just like Eminem says, and it's like it's either right now or it's not going to happen. So I seized the moment, and I actually reached out. I grabbed the frog, and I had him tight so he wouldn't get away. And I just like came back up to we took him back up to the truck, and I'm just like, my heart's racing. I was sweating so bad. I was wearing a hoodie. It's like 80% humidity. Oof. Yeah. Poison ivy, mosquitoes, and bald-faced hornets coming at me. Don't ask me why the bald-faced hornets at night, but yeah, it was a wild experience.
Why not?
Yeah. And so we get the footage. I'm like, there's all kinds of stuff I could say about the frog. It's very rowdy. I didn't think mountain chorus frogs would be so misbehaved, but they are not. They are not good to be. It's good. It's a good thing. You don't want a rare frog that's fragile to be good at like being a display animal, right? So he's trying to get away from me and all this stuff, and it's good. But he's healthy. I mean, he was the alpha male because he was the only one calling. But man, he didn't want his picture. Yeah, so we go through, get the scenes of the frog, and so we have enough for a story. But you know, it was a somebody else who had led us to that spot who had passed away, and you know, I just felt it to be appropriate. So we actually went to the funeral, and I asked his wife if I could have permission to use the footage because he was actually in some from the first
Oh, really?
expedition, and I gave him my infrared binoculars and told him to go and film, and he did. He started filming rattlesnakes and stuff, and I just wanted to make sure it was okay with her before I actually put it up because you know he's got kids and like
Right.
I just want to make sure that it's the right thing to do. I don't want to do anything out of haste because just being a guest, you know, invited by them, and so we got down there and she told us that was the best thing that she had heard all week, and it was an honor for her, but I don't think she realized how much of an honor it was for us to, you know, tell the story about an awesome guy, but also to give a name and a voice to the animal that he cared about. Because it's one thing to go and tell people what it is, but how many people actually looked up and saw, oh, that's what he means by mountain chorus frog? It's like, well, here it is. We're holding it, and it's like it's calling, you know. But it was right place at the right time. I mean, I had my macro camera and lens like on it. It was tracking it with AI. It was crazy. And then I just so happened to be wearing camo Nikes, and apparently mountain chorus frogs think that that's leaf litter. That's the forest floor. He jumped right into my shoes. Yeah, and it was just like we just got some shots you wouldn't have expected. But I think that is probably one of the better episodes because of what it actually means to a community, but also what it means to all of us. Just it's a special frog. It's a special situation. You know, the whole. I apologize for taking so long to explain the story, but you know, I'm just kind of like trying to explain so you guys understand I guess the significance of why that's probably one of the more important episodes this year.
Yeah. So you're not one of the lucky few like Jake who can touch poison ivy and all that stuff and have zero reaction to it.
No, yeah. So it was funny. So it was towards the end of the field season. I guess we're still in it technically because we're going to build habitats, but yeah, like towards the end of the field season, I kind of can tell whenever the frogs are, I guess you could call it maybe estivating. Like when it's really dry and hot, they just disappear. That's when I'm like, oh, it's time to start working on the videos because you're not going to find them. Like I'm not going to go digging them up or whatever. Like if they're out, I'll help them, but if they're hiding, it's another story. So I go and you know I'm working on whatever, but like those last couple of nights that I'd been in the field, it was way after that, the mountain chorus frog episode. But yeah, I actually got poison ivy, but my body keeping it, having discipline and not scratch, staying in air conditioning because I'm working on videos. I didn't have it spread, thankfully. But yeah, I went through the ringer for the field season this year.
Yeah, I'm starting to wonder if I'm one of the people that doesn't get really affected by it because when we're out walking some of the WMAs and stuff, man, it's everywhere. Like there's just entire like plots just covered in either poison oak or poison ivy. And I figured as much as we're walking around in it that I would it's I mean, I'm wearing jeans usually, but even then, like still have exposed areas, I'm sure, where I would think I would get some, but I don't know. Jay claims that he's one of the ones that doesn't get affected by it. So what did Sanchez said? Poison ivy is why my fat ass stays in long sleeves and pants when herping, regardless of heat. Yeah.
I literally just realized that we could see comments. Don't ask me why. I already knew that. I just didn't. I don't even know. I just drew a blank, and I'm like, oh, I'll read the comments too.
Yeah, I learned my lesson about wearing shorts when we're out herping just because the handful of times that I have, my legs just get absolutely destroyed just from walking through all the brush and stuff and the thorns and whatnot. So it took a long time, but I wear pants now.
I always do too.
It's
I wear-
tough, dude, especially like when it starts heating up down here. It's like I do not want to be wearing these jeans and these boots. Gotta.
What you got to do though, the jeans and the boots are a part of it, but you got to get some mug root beer to get that dog in you. You go through that field season. I mean, that's what I try to do.
I don't think mug is harder to find down here than some of the other brands, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you got, Barks?
Yeah.
Yeah, do you like Barks root beer?
It's been so long since I've had both. I honestly don't think I could tell you that I have a preference over one or the other.
Well, one will give you that dog in you, and the other one won't. So I mean, that's really what it is. I'm just
The
being
label.
I mean, but hey, the label makes the difference, right? I mean, that's why we buy certain brands.
Absolutely. Are you guys still doing a lot of the work with people who want sort of features on their properties for ponds and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, we're at 8 habitats, so yeah, I could talk about how different that is. It's really changed too since the last time we talked. So whether it's like at a college or a Bible camp or like a nature area, like I don't want to put it, conserved land. So it's not just backyards anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But what makes it unique is we've also gotten some interns from like undergrad and graduate schools. What we're trying to do is create these habitats, and then the students will have the chance to see what pioneers them. So they'll be able to hot swap SD cards. They'll be able to help us put in like the weather stations. Excuse me. They'll be able to help us put in the weather stations or weather cameras or bioacoustics devices. So I'm trying to make this great for the animals, but also like now we can get more people excited about this, because if students are able to like use this and we're able to get something out of the students using it, and we're also making the landowners happy and the animals have a place to live, I mean, that's a perfect world.
Yeah.
That's almost like an ideal situation.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where we're at with things.
So what's as far as the bioacoustic stuff, what is that looking like, and what is it just recording calls and stuff that it picks up, or what are you doing with that?
Well, I got to give a huge shout out to Josh's Frogs, because we applied for their grant for 2 years in a row and we ended up getting awarded it. And that at the time it was chosen by the public. So literally anybody could go on and vote. And if you didn't get enough votes, you didn't win anything. We were fortunate enough that people liked our project. I'm thankful for Josh's Frogs for giving us the platform, and they have done a lot for Frog Week, but it was also to the public who voted for us to get us in the placing.
Mm-hmm.
What we're trying to do, okay, so I just talked about the habitats. Well, here's another thing we can do now. We can put the bioacoustics, the audio moth devices in these properties because they're protected or they're secluded enough where nobody's going to steal our equipment. So it starts with a guy for PA Woods and Forests. He's actually trying to use machine learning to identify these frog calls. And what we hope to do is set these recorders out, but to try to get like autonomous identification of these animals. So if we can get enough calls, then we could say there's a mountain chorus frog. Mm-hmm. And it might have only been calling in this one spot one time out of the whole breeding season. And we got it detected because the audio moth was there and I wasn't. Mm-hmm. Like I'm not sitting in place for 2 months where that, or even the trail cameras that pick up audio and video, because we use them for the video side. Those are things that are tangible, that are deliverables, that we can utilize. And even the trail cam audio, even though it's not fantastic, it's going to give a different spectrum and wavelength. So they'd be able to actually use all of that together, from my understanding, to get different wavelengths of the calls to really have a better chance of identifying them. So for some people, it's like, what is that song? Like if you click your button on your iPhone or your Android and you say, hey, who's singing that song? Yeah. We're trying to get it to that point, and we want to make it free and open source to the public. Mm-hmm. So like if we work with an iNaturalist or a Nature's Notebook, where you hit the button, and there's a record. It says you've just recorded American bullfrog, and it gets it accurate. So that's where we would like it to lead. But the reason why is because researchers in the field can use this for other frogs if they're declining, or other frogs, if they're looking for it.
Yeah, there's this app my wife likes a lot because she's gotten into birds a lot the last handful of years. It's called Merlin, and if you have, I don't even think you necessarily have to have the app open, which I guess to some people kind of freaks them out, but like it'll actively be listening, and so if you're outside, it'll pick up all the calls and it'll tell you what birds you have around you, like in real time, because it's listening to those calls and stuff, and it's actually really cool because she'll pull it up and be like, oh, that was we have painted bunnings. Like there's 2 in the backyard right now. And she's been absolutely obsessed with them. We have woodpeckers, we have cardinals, all that, birds of prey, all that stuff. And it's just real. I'm kind of surprised that there hasn't been something similar for frogs. Because it's really cool just to watch that thing, just listen and pick up calls and be able to like pinpoint exactly what they are, like very quickly, so.
Well, let me explain. There's a couple I think that are actually out there, but they're not necessarily free, and they're not necessarily like, I personally don't know how great they are, but like I want to help students to get projects to do this stuff, but also we want this, I'm really pushing, and that was the goal of it. We want it to be free, because if we can help other researchers, let's say, they have frogs in captivity that they could get them calling in the lab, but they can't get them calling out in the wild. If you get enough calls in the lab and then you put those audio moths out to deploy them to listen and see if you can catch that frog in the wild, if it's still there, now they have a starting point. And like some of these ideas, like that's why we want to do this, because we're not in it for like the money. We got like $1,000 between both grants. Like I've actually put money into this outside of the grant because I want to see it succeed. It's just, we want to make sure that this gets in the right hands. We want the people to have it. Like we want anybody to be able to, anybody could do conservation, and we want to give them that opportunity, whatever country, whatever state, like whoever you are. And this is just one of those tools. And if we're fortunate enough to succeed, then I think we're going to do something really special for a lot of people and a lot of frogs.
But would the goal be so that it's open source and it's free, but like say, someone hears a chorus frog and there's you or someone else in a particular area that's like trying to get a better idea of what the population is looking like, would it automatically ping that and then send it to whoever the proper person would be? Like say, hey, this person was in this, half-mile radius of this coordinate and they heard chorus frogs were picked up. Like, would it then let them know so that kind of gives them a better idea of where to be looking to be able to track this kind of thing? Or is it?
It's a great question. So I think it depends on who we put it in the hands of. So if we take it to an organization, like let's say this is a very big stretch because of how big they are, but let's just say, I don't know, I somehow get the attention of iNaturalist or Nature's Notebook, but let's say iNaturalist because it's more fitting. And I say, hey, you guys have this kind of already built in, but this is what I think if we told them what our goal was, what we actually wanted to accomplish, I think it aligns really well with what they actually want, because iNaturalist is free. So I would trust that they would know how to utilize it, because they're probably looking at doing something themselves if they haven't already. I think that it would be then kind of up to the user, and it's dangerous because the user can see exactly where the identification
right. I mean,
is.
it's the INAT conundrum, the INAT paradox of
Well, I found a way around it for our project, because there's a couple years where we weren't doing anything, but I do feel confident and comfortable with iNaturalist now. It took a little bit. So what I do for my project, and we have over 1,000 records from 10 people. I had 70% of them, so I had like 729 out of the 1,032. Literally it's like 71% around if you estimate. But anyway, so if you put the county and you don't put the exact identification, like let's say Pittsburgh is in Allegheny County. So let's say I found a Cope's gray tree frog in Allegheny County on May 15th at 8 p.m. That's all I put. I don't put the exact spot where it was. and I also still obscure it. So I don't know if you really need to, but I just do it anyway for extra measure. But yeah, I only do to the county, and everybody that's in the project knows don't exactly give away the coordinates. So our project, I'm very confident because all of the frogs, and I'm the only one that found the chorus frogs on the project this year, and I found a lot of the great tree frogs. But the guys who were second, third, and fourth did the exact same thing. So it's like 90% of our records, they don't have the coordinates. No one's finding them. Like there's no way to find them. So I feel pretty confident about that. But
Well, it's like having a point of contact to where, okay, a chorus frog call was picked up and there's like one or two appointed people.
Yeah, exactly.
Where it sends that notification to them because they're the ones actively studying it. And I would think, especially if you have, college students or something, bio majors that are studying them too, like the amount of time and money it would save by them not having to just kind of blindly throw darts at a board and hope they find a chorus frog in one particular area.
Yeah.
Instead, now they can be like, well, calls have been picked up in points A, B, and C. Like, let's start there. And now they've narrowed down that, that scope of having to hunt down and hopefully, just get lucky in coming across some. I don't know.
No, that's perfect. That's right.
Loud.
Right.
I do like, and forgive me if you guys mentioned this already. I do like how a naturalist now has frog calls as an observation. So you can, for those who don't know, you can go on a naturalist and type in,
barking tree frog,
barking tree frog, and there'll be 15, 20 in this one area, but there's no pictures. It's just the audio track that someone recorded of their calling, and through the expert grade system, people have all unanimously agreed that that's what that is.
Yeah, that's what I had to do for the spring peeper. A lot of people don't want to necessarily get pictures of them. I don't know how it is for you guys down south, but like up here, it's so abundant that it seems to get overlooked. And I kind of challenged myself and others, like, we should be filming it just as much. Like, that's kind of ridiculous that a frog that's so abundant that we don't have more records of, because like, why not? It's a paradox. If you're so abundant, then like nobody cares, right? Because the American toads and green frogs are actually they have more records on our project, but people will stop and actually take a picture of them. Spring peepers, it's like, okay, if I can't find them, it's like a needle in a haystack. Why don't we get their audio? So probably the majority of my records this year, out of the 216 that we found for records, not just total frogs, I'd say I probably have 180.
Wow.
170. But a lot of that's probably their audio. But yeah, I mean, that's important. All of this is important. The bioacoustics and the distribution, understanding like our iNaturalist project, like that's huge, because now we have data. Like, we know where some of these frogs are and how they're doing in these different areas. And like, that was a big part of the Frog Week project, is like, from 8 counties, what's going on, like where are they at in terms of habitat destruction and pollution and forest fragmentation, people just overall with malice, like what is that actually doing to the populations? And we can kind of understand that. Microclimate data with a weather station, trail cameras to detect them wrestling and calling, the audio moth to also detect that, and then like grad students and interns going and actually like seeing who's pioneering this. I mean, imagine, I can't even imagine years ago if somebody would have explained to me that's where we're at with the project, like that I would have believed it, because that's a lot of cool stuff.
Well, I mean, you got to think too with like some of these college, programs and thesi. How many of those get passed over because they're simply like, it's going to take too much time, and like there's not going to be a whole lot of juice coming from that squeeze because of the sheer time it takes just to find some of those species. They're like, we can't put money into this because the odds of us getting anything out of it are pretty slim, and I look at it on a sort of a more of a global scale too, just for, like you were talking about with the app for calls and things like that. Because I think about that episode we did with Doc Messenger, which I think we talked about last year, where they heard a call of a frog that they were like, A, that doesn't sound familiar, and B, I don't think that's supposed to be in this particular area. And I don't remember exactly the details, if it was a completely new species or if it was just a species that was like way out of range than where they normally are. But because they heard that call, they started looking for it and they found it. And it's like, imagine if you had that app and how many other species, like how much clearer of a picture do you get for ranges, especially of stuff that's critically endangered or things like that. Like how much easier would that make things for people researching and trying to same thing, get a pulse on what things are looking like for a certain species in a certain area, and having the ability to have something like that Merlin app that can pull those calls while you're there, because you have the that advantage of the audio aspect of it that you don't get with snakes and lizards and things like that, and being able to take full advantage of it. I think it'd be a big deal.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Just all of it, even like taking the tadpoles that we do find from puddles, and like even some of our habitats, you never know if the puddles and the pools, even our utility tubs, if they were to dry up, I mean, those going to classrooms and allowing kids to raise them and then take them back to the wild. Like I've really spent a lot of time trying to develop the project in a way that it brings people and animals together, because like I said, we're in the animal human conflict zones. So like, what are things we can do to get people to look at them as like worthy of protection, or worthy of being stewarded over? And like that's been a lot of the goal, is trying to get people excited about them to want to keep them around.
Do you guys ever do any water testing? Like if you find tadpoles or like certain vernal pools and stuff, are you guys doing like water tests in those areas to see like what the water's looking like in some of that?
That's a great question. Yeah. So I try to weigh the animals on a gram scale. Imagine that, Phil. I'm just out in the middle of the woods and somebody drives by with a guy in black and brown on with a headlamp, and he's got
over a puddle like Gollum
with a gram scale. And what are they going to say? Like, oh yeah, you're out here weighing frogs. Is that what you're doing? Yeah. What's in the book bag, buddy? Yeah.
Is frog code word for meth?
Yeah. Here, taste this. Does it taste like cocaine? Because it's frog slime.
I think they cut it. It's got battery acid in it.
I'll just tell him to give him a kiss and see if he turns into a prince.
Yeah, right.
But so I weigh them, but yeah, so water chemistry, pH, ammonia, nitrite and nitrate. So we did it in the beginning of this year, but we kind of got away from it, not because we didn't want to do it. It's just, I think, at the time. But where the great tree frogs live, yeah, absolutely. I try to get the ammonia and the pH, and trying to understand where, even different times of the year. So some of the pools of water don't dry up. So they're around, if not all year, 90% of the year. What is it in the summer when the tadpoles are towards the tail end versus when they first go in? How much it has the ammonia spiked? Because that probably is a real thing that we would need to figure out. But that is something that we are doing, that we're looking into with the audio and with the even with like the water quality testing. But I'm trying to get this off the ground. I have some convincing to do for some folks, but I'd really like to test some of these habitats for ranavirus. I know it's expensive, but I'm really trying. Like, if I had a goal for what I wanted to see happen next outside of the audio moth recorders, I think it would be testing for ranavirus, because we would have so much more knowledge of like, okay, we're taking all these safety precautions. Do we really need to everywhere, or is our guard down at one spot when it needs to be up? Like, should this be the only spot because it has ranavirus and others don't? Like, I think of the pickerel frog populations we oversee. There might be 4 of them, only 4. So if one population has ranavirus and the other 3 don't, now my boots, let's say one night it's raining and stuff, so I don't really wash my boots because it's coming down inches of rain. Well, okay, now I go to the next spot and I brought ranavirus. Like, it would help to, I think it would give a why, because you have to understand too, there's other people that are going to go with me. So if I'm bringing out interns or other people from, like, we actually created a conservation committee for the nonprofit, and we have people from like 20 to 41, really young groups of people, PhD students, all the way down to just volunteers. You got to sell that to them. Like, hey, like, clean your dirty, filthy boots that are probably tracking in like ranavirus, and like some people might not even know what it is. So if we test it and they understand that, this is a project, this is important, I think it gives more power to taken those safety measures. And it also will put more perspective into the project, because then if we're telling you, hey, this is a disease that plagues frogs and we're testing for it, I mean, imagine how crazy that sounds for 8,000 or for the entire length of the project, all the square miles that we oversee, like testing. I don't think we're going to test all 8,000 square miles, but like where we're
Even a
primarily at.
handful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would just
Even a handful.
it'd be cool. So that's probably what I'd like to see next is that.
What about on the same note, what about like minerals or hardness? Because I know like down by me, you'll get abandoned coral quarries and there'll just be thousands of green tree frogs, and like the water is literally gray like concrete, and they're just in it swimming, and that's just straight up mineral, straight up hard water. Do you ever see anything like that in certain pools where maybe there's more quartz or limestone or whatever?
That's actually really interesting that you bring that up. So I guess we could talk about it in two ways. For you guys seeing more minerals, I think up here we see more like acid mine drainage, acid mine runoff in the water. But for your example about limestone, I'll actually talk about that. So in Somerset County, it's high elevation, 2,500 feet up, and there's gray tree frogs. So kind of unusual. It's around the same elevation we found mountain chorus frogs, which the name implies, they're high elevation frogs, right? Well, gray tree frogs, again, a lot of people never thought that they would be that high up. So there are a couple of spots where there are some like watersheds that have been putting in like settlement ponds or large areas with like limestone rock that the stuff passes through the water, and it like brings the pH up. So there are great tree frogs that have actually started utilizing those like areas where the like it's not gravel, it's like the huge big chunks of the limestone. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Really big.
Yeah.
So the great tree frogs blend in perfect with it. And I didn't realize that, but this one population actually uses it to their advantage, because I don't think owls can see them in it. Because if
Oh,
they
wow.
crouch down, because that's pretty much what they're playing chess with out there is the owls, because I don't think anything else can find them.
Wow.
But they're out there using the limestone. They're hiding in it, and they're hanging out. But they don't seem to be breeding in dirty, like that kind of crappy water. At least great tree frogs.
I don't think it, and forgive me, it may not be dirty, quote unquote, or polluted or toxin ridden. It's just, it's very milky because of
Yeah.
all the coral dust that's there, or the limestone that's there. So yeah, I didn't know you guys have a lot of springs up there, and you guys have a ton of like weird glacial stones that move the continent, and that's fascinating to me.
It's crazy. I never would have thought that great tree frogs would leave the trees, leave all the vernal pools, and go into the middle of this man-made like limestone bed essentially, and start calling from it. But they do.
Wild.
They're doing it, and it's in the episode this year. But that's probably really cool to explain to people, like that these great tree frogs are, I guess, adapting to their environment, because the water quality was so polluted that they didn't have anywhere else to go, and the puddles I don't think were really cutting it. They were drying up so fast, so they just said, you know what, you build us a new habitat, we're going to use it, and they did. So green frogs, though, on the other hand, that's who I see in like the brown and orange water, the sulfur water.
More high tannins, more
Yeah.
acidic. Yeah.
No, not even tannins. Like straight up, like probably just sulfur in the water.
Okay.
Like it's colored the rocks orange.
Oh wow.
And the green frogs are in there breeding and reproducing and calling and having a party.
That's
and
awesome.
There's no other frogs.
That's wild, man. Absolutely wild.
They don't care. Yeah, I didn't know. I don't know if green tree frogs maybe are less sensitive than gray tree frogs. I don't know if that's been studied or not, but I certainly would not have thought that, because gray tree frogs are so like thick skin, like they got the bumpy, warty skin, kind of like toads.
Yeah, toadish skin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which will also be a stronger indicator of them using those limestone habitat. Very similar, like Grand Canyon tree frogs. They're hundreds of yards, if not a mile away from water source, and on the side of just a sandstone cliff, or what, I don't even know what mineral it is or what element it is, and they look like the stone. They just blend in perfect, dry as a bone. It's wild.
Yeah.
So what is next for Frog Watch?
So it depends on if you're trying to watch some episodes this week or if you're talking about what we're trying to do like next year.
Let's do upcoming projects, and then we can get into this week's stuff.
Okay. So upcoming projects, definitely building more habitats. That seems to be our top priority. I think this is going to sound kind of aggressive. I think trying to actually hunt down the Cope spray tree frog and Fowler's toad and getting to 11 frogs that we could actually make Frog Week about.
Cool.
That's not out of the realm of possibilities because they are later in the season for breeding, and they seem both to be more drawn to like bodies of water. So the vernal pools don't really matter for Fowler's toads, don't really matter as much for the Copes, at least where they're found near me. So what I can say is like that would be really special if we got 11 frogs to tell it. We went from 3 to 4 to 7, now to 8. It's almost like the college football expansion. It's like what we're doing.
Have you noticed a uptick in people being more inquisitive about you setting up their backyard, or flat out asking like, hey, how do I get involved in that regard? I think that I think that it's very difficult to get the word out, but I feel like the more people that know, the more interested they might be, but hang on one second. Little technical difficulties.
He's fighting for his life.
Yeah, I think if I had the ability to do something like that in my yard, I definitely would. I just feel like I'd have to do some kind of mosquito fish or something, because it would be straight murder, man. I feel like I'm pouring out potted plants on the daily this summer.
Yeah.
Just the mosquito larvae are just insane. Oh man. But yeah, I think that what Aaron and his peeps are doing, putting in man-made microbiomes in people's yards to attract species, I think is a fantastic thing.
Yeah, sorry about that. I got like a coughing jag. I don't know if it was from drinking too much, like too fast.
That's what happens when you breathe in bottled water, bro.
Yeah, the microplastics got me.
Oh yeah, so good.
Yeah, I was just at the library event. We actually had 2 people come up and ask about just wanting to build habitats. So yeah, we've gotten an uptick. I mean, if we do that, we'd be around like maybe 10 habitats. Sorry about that.
It's all right. Do your thing, man.
Yeah, I definitely ran myself into the ground here for this year for filming. I got a little bit of a sick here, so I apologize. But oh my, that's probably from all the talking I did today, to be honest with you. But
Chris Sanchez says Fiji water wouldn't do that. Just saying.
He's right. The Fiji water, I need some. Do you give that to your animals too?
So for the longest time, I had a 5-gallon fish tank in my bathroom. It's still there. It's still set up. It's going to be an amphibian tank at some point. But I had a warmouth cichlid in there and live mangroves. And as a gag, many moons ago, this is a very long inside joke, I filled the whole thing with Fiji water. And our good friend Matt Most was like, oh man, I love that you filled it with Fiji water. Now, I filled it with Fiji water because it was a big inside joke amongst some friends, and we can go into another time. But Matt Most was like, oh man, you did Fiji water. That's because the pH balance and the mineral balance, right? And I was like, no, but cool. So apparently Fiji water is the closest water to actually what's in our own bodies. I didn't know that. But recently we got a letter from the city saying that they're going to be adding chlorine and chloramine to the tap water to try and purge some old crap that's in there. And I don't want to give that to my animals. I don't want to put that in my animals' water bowls, regardless if they're amphibians or not. So I actually bought a bunch of cases of Fiji, and I've been just using that to top off water. But obviously, I'm washing them out in the sink like normal. But to actually fill their bowls with water, I've been using Fiji, and I might keep doing it, man. No more hard water lines. I might keep doing it.
Why don't you just get like a reverse osmosis system and remineralize it too? You can mix that in.
Because
It's making too much sense, Aaron.
well, and at the same time, it's a desert room, and all the water bowls dry out. I give them water like every other week, so it's not that big a deal. I just buy some bottles, and the Fiji's fun.
It is fun.
It is.
I give it to my frogs and toads too. Like
Excellent.
I said, they're living like the Romans. But yeah, so I apologize, I cut us off here, but
No, you're good. Good, go on.
yeah, absolutely. So we're definitely building habitats, and I could see this becoming a really big part of the nonprofit. I really could. I think it's really special because it's going to give more like wildlife corridors an opportunity to establish, because um, that's primarily what we're after. You know, there's so much funding for state parks, for national parks, and I'm not here to talk about like the political side of all that spectrum, but what I'm trying to say is there's people that manage that and they get funding to do it and they pay people to do it. It's really up to the individual for how they, put stuff together in their backyard. And the government isn't telling them how they can and can't run their property. So in
Right.
Pennsylvania, we see a lot of posted signs, and they're very serious about it. So being able to create habitat where, somebody might not have ever actually surveyed for frogs because it was posted, that gives me an opportunity now to look and potentially find something that, like you said about a frog being out of range. Well, could there be something that has disappeared and that's the only place where it lives?
Yeah.
It's wild.
Oh, I won an award. They said the guest that nearly died on the show. Yeah. I hope you guys were praying for me when I was on mute, because I don't know how I made it through there.
You
I
did.
think it was by the grace of God and by Phil that I made it through, because if it wasn't for Phil, I don't think I'd have done it.
Oh, you're too kind. Too kind.
You gotta send me some of that Fiji water. You know what we could do, Phil? We should we should take the label off and we should Photoshop you, and we should have like Miracle Spring Water, like Phil's Miracle Spring Water or something.
Yeah, that'd
And
be good.
you could get
Like
that,
Baby
like,
Billy.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that's good stuff. It's crazy. I only
Selfless.
yeah, I only have one amphibian right now. I've got an Egyptian green toad, and I got one left, my lonely desert toad. And it's pretty interesting because despite it being an arid species, I try to keep it as humid as possible. Because if he doesn't have to be dry, you know what I mean? He shouldn't really be. And I'm not too worried about things like mold or fungal infections and stuff like that, because in the wild, they really are finding the moisture. But I do enjoy the species because when the room does get super dry and its enclosure does dry out, because I let things get dry out, I'm not concerned that he's going to be in any kind of danger if it's completely zero humidity in there, because I know he's good for weeks, if not months on end, making his own little slime coat and whatnot. But that tank that I have that's been Fiji water tank, I think I'm going to try and find some kind of amphibian in Daytona, something to put in there. I don't know, some kind of newt or something.
Stingrays.
In a 5-gallon in my bathroom? Yeah. Okay.
Little baby stingray.
Little baby stingray, yeah.
You're gonna set me up to make a joke that would be bad. So I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna take the high road.
Nice. Magnanimous of you.
What I will say.
Yeah, what were we going to say?
Well, I guess to have a little bit of fun with it. So the toad in the desert, do you think like he has like mirages? He thinks he sees like female toads. That's a bad joke. That's terrible.
It was good.
It was a dad joke.
I will tell you this. It's a boy, and he is terrified of food, because I'll just throw crickets in there, and I guess he's not expecting like to have food walk in front of him, and the cricket will touch him, and he will scream like he's being murdered.
Oh my God.
And it's adorably terrifying, especially if you don't realize it. Especially like I'll throw the crickets in, I'll close the tub, the container, put it on the shelf, turn around, go to do something else, and you'll just hear. So it's adorable. But
It touched my leg.
it touched me. Now I have to eat it. Yeah. So again, we're gonna now we've talked about future projects. What do we got in store for us this week?
I like how we talked about future projects, and then like I almost died. So that I don't know if that better not be foreshadowing. I'm just saying, because
I know
that's the
good.
last time that you
I
like
think
that's the
you're good.
worst place you want to like, choke.
No. No, unintended.
Yeah.
Phil's using his South Florida voodoo.
Yeah.
I'm not doing nothing, bro.
Yeah. So for this week, well, I guess let me back up for a second, because you're talking about your Egyptian toad.
Yeah.
One of the things that I found at least somewhat interesting is the gray tree frogs in captivity don't seem to really like humidity and moisture as much as what I thought they would, because
Okay.
like they have a fogger and they have pretty much everything that the toads do, but what I'm noticing is they just don't seem to really. It doesn't really do a whole lot for them. Like they don't hide, but I don't know. I could just kind of tell that it's not their favorite thing to get hit by the fog.
Yeah.
So I'm actually gonna experiment and keep it a little bit drier for the soil moisture. I actually do have soil moisture sensors with like
Really?
weather station, and yeah, so I can tell like what it is, and I think keeping it drier might actually make the gray tree frogs happier, to be honest with you.
That's awesome. Now, do you mind going into these sensors? Because I didn't know there was such a thing. Is it specifically for like horticulture, or like what's the sensors?
So I apologize if you can hear my weather station. My vacuum
It's
is
okay.
like being crazy right now. Can you hear it?
Not
feel like-
really.
No, if you're talking, you can't hear it. You're good.
Anyway, there's a lot of inside jokes people play every time I like get on a Zoom call. They're like, "Oh, I can't hear it," and then like they're like, "Oh wait, no, I think I can hear it."
Now
They play-
now we can hear it.
Now you can hear it.
Now
Yeah,
we hear it.
it just finished up.
Nice.
So, long story short,
Damn droids,
yeah, right.
clankers.
So I have a weather station that I put out like in my backyard, and it's the same one that we would put in any property that has Wi-Fi. They also have other gadgets that you could use, like they have like air particulate sensors and soil moisture sensors and all kinds of other things as well. So no, it's literally for a weather station. You just stick it in the ground and it tells you the soil moisture. So
Wow.
I actually have one in each of the tanks, and I monitor that. I'm trying to keep it at like ideally between 60 and 40, but it seems like the gray tree frogs are happier with it really low, like 30.
Interesting.
Like dry soil. I don't really, it not necessarily affecting the humidity in the tank, which it would, but like they just seem to be more interested in drier soil. Like if it's like if you have to wring the soil out or something, like they want nothing to do with it.
Very interesting.
What I've noticed, it also seems like it might get them irritated. Like their underside turns like pinkish, and they're not as pinkish when it's dry. I don't know if it's just cocoa fiber or whatever, or if that's all of it. But because like I put a good mix of soil in, but yeah, the soil moisture sensors are pretty cool because that can tell you if you're flooding your tank, if you have like all kinds of problems that you didn't even realize because you're not like detecting any of that. So like whenever I have thunderstorms in the tank, I know the toad tank is going to be at like 70% soil moisture. And if you keep it too high, like some people think maybe they're not great with like keeping plants. It might literally be the soil moisture for why. If it's too low, some of the plants are going to just die. If it's too high, some of the plants are going to die as well, because it's like it's either they're living in a wetland or a desert, and you got to try to kind of meet it in the middle as being temperate for the most part. But you wouldn't know that unless you measured it. Yeah.
Now, the probes that you have, is it like a spike probe like you'd put in a potted plant, or is it more of a cord probe like we have in our snake racks?
They're wireless, and they're in the tank with the animals at all times.
So it's not in the soil per se. It's just like on top, or
No, it's in the soil, 6
wow.
inches.
Oh wow. Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
It's not spiked, and
Okay.
I wouldn't even do that because the toads burrow and the wall lizards. I think they probably would. Like I wouldn't even want to test that. But no, it's like round. It's kind of like a lid, to be honest with you, like a chapstick lid almost.
Oh wow. Okay.
But it's more rounded off.
Like a thimble, kind of like a thimble size device.
It looks like. That's a good.
Does it look like the Wi-Fi Govies that we use?
I could show you. I actually have one. If you give me,
I mean,
one
don't
second.
take one out of the don't take one out of the soil. But if
It's
you
like
have
I just bring a frog with it. Like here it
Yeah.
is.
yeah,
No, I actually have
he's
a
got a
couple.
rubber band to the toad's back.
Whole backpack.
Yeah, yeah.
They have to like keep it running. Yeah, give me 1 second. I'll be right
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
I'm gonna grab it.
Because I was just thinking, if we had that if more people knew that existed, the actual soil itself, how great would that be for incubating eggs in perlite or vermiculite? You know, and if really tailoring, it's like, oh, do I need to add water to this mixture? You know, do I need to take water out of this mixture? I think that's brilliant. It really is. I didn't know that thing existed like that.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Yeah, go grab it. Yeah.
I'm not gonna
show us your probe.
Oh, that works. Okay,
There we go. Damn, look at that. That's a good looking toad. It's a good looking toad. Yeah, man, we love our gadgets and we wanna enjoy our gadgets to the fullest with our animals. And oh man, I finally got cameras set up in the room, and dude, I find myself like noon, just like turn on, see what guys are doing, you know, see who's awake.
Yeah.
Why not, you know? So, and then I got a camera on the eggs just in case I start to see something funky, you know, I can run home and fix it. I don't know.
Handle it. Yeah.
Handle it. Handle your business.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I had to get my camera to track me again. Most people are telling it not to, right? But I'm telling it to do it. So let's see if yeah. So this is what it looks like.
Oh wow, that thing's way bigger than I thought.
Yeah. But on the other side, though, I mean, it's pretty cool. It's not gonna hurt the animals.
Yeah.
But it's actually really cool. So it runs on a battery, but it's Wi-Fi, so it's connected to my weather station. And like I said, I could have, I think 6 to 8 just with the regular weather station. Then if I get like an extender, which I do have, I could have like 14 or something. But yeah, I'm not going back to anything else because I like Govee, but if I mean, going with a weather station, a legit weather station that has all these other devices, there's a lot more opportunities.
Yeah, and for those listening on their commute, Aaron just held up what honestly looks like a plastic squirt gun, like a plastic squirt pistol. It's green, and the barrel of said pistol has openings for sensors. Is that like a cheesecloth on there? In those white sections, it's like fabric.
No, it's hard.
Oh, it's hard. Okay, so it's basically this squirt gun. The barrel of the squirt gun has these openings that are white, and that barrel of the gun goes into the soil. And then there's like a battery compartment that would be the handle of said pistol. And I think it's larger than I was expecting, but that thing's super cool. You know?
I know that Phil has that page with guns, so I thought you'd find it amusing. That's why I didn't want to give it away.
Nice. I like it. It's good. It's good.
So you guys think
Really
that
cool.
could really help you with like even with your eggs and with like the snakes and stuff too?
Yeah, I feel like seeing how large it is, it might be difficult for like egg containers, but just the idea that there is a way to test the hydration level of soil and as well as the temperature of soil, I think it's fascinating. You know,
I could still probably find a way to just run it through the lid of an egg box and gasket it or something.
Yeah, for sure.
Wouldn't be difficult.
Yeah, or if anything, just you use a larger shoebox, you know, and just even though you don't need a 18 quart, you get an 18 quart just so you could bury the gun in there. I do know that like my late mentor, he used to have mercury thermometers and he would just stick a mercury thermometer in the vermiculite just to keep tabs on it. But obviously that's just temperature, and he would just go by feel. He would poke the vermiculite, but that thing's fascinating. I'm going to do a little rabbit hole dive into that.
There's a lot of different things you can get to. Like I said, temperature and humidity. You can get soil moisture. There's the particulates in the air. So there's a good bit of really cool devices that a lot of these weather stations and these companies that build them are starting to give to people offering. So yeah, I think that it's actually really valuable for anybody who is interested. It's a little bit more money, but you have to think you're literally going to, if you do this with this specific brand, you're going to get a weather station out of it. So you're going to know what your temperature is in your backyard.
Yeah.
And why that's so important for somebody like me is I'm building a habitat in my room for these toads that lived out in the backyard. So if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense for me to have something like this, more so than the Govee, because I'm trying to replicate what they would actually experience in the wild.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. And just since we're on the same topic, you're still doing the whole rainstorm thing. Is that more frequent now? Have you figured out your drainage and recycling aspect of it? Because I know last time I think we talked about it, you were still tweaking and tuning.
Yeah. So the big thing is how do you dry it out after?
Yeah.
A lot of people might not realize that, but if you do a 10-minute rainstorm, that's a lot of water coming out of let's say 9 nozzles for a Mist King.
Yeah.
So I think their reservoir is 8 gallons. So if I took it to dry, 8 gallons in 10 minutes, I mean, that'd be a hell of a rainstorm for one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
But
flooding it out. Yeah.
Yeah, they might be calling at the top of the tank at that point. But
yeah.
No, I mean, I think that getting the second duct exhaust fan and having both of those pushing water pushing airflow in will help to dry it out faster. But you run the risk of, here's the reason why I got the soil moisture sensor. If you dry the top out, but you keep the bottom soggy, it's bad recipe for a plant, because the top layer is so bone dry, but the bottom layer is just
oversaturated.
Yeah.
Wet.
You get root rot and whatnot.
Mhm.
Yeah. And you would never realize that. You think it was just dried out, right? You think, oh, I'm not watering it enough, so it's a trick. So the soil moisture sensor kind of reveals that as to what you need to do. So I think that that's one way by accommodating for it. I also have, and I used to have a waterfall in the tank, free flowing, but it was too much money I threw at it. It didn't work out. So the habitat, the background for these toads, it's actually kind of exposed rock, and where I live, there's a lot of history of acid mines, acid mine drainage, pollution and stuff.
Mhm.
So there's where water runs, it's orange. It leaves that orange coloration of the rocks. It just so happens there was a tabletop fountain that looks the exact same as the limestone, and then in the middle where the water runs down, it's orange. And I'm like, oh, that's perfect. And then the question is, would American toads, if you left a fountain out in your backyard, would they go in it? So it's the same kind of question, right? Because I'm putting this in their tank. Would they use it as a water source?
Right.
Or, are they not going to use it? So there's a lot of experimenting. It was really, really cool and rewarding to see them using that. Let me just tell you, because not only because it's contained, and I can clean that and I can do a lot with it, it looks freaking cool. And
nice.
At the same time, it's just not something you would expect to see. How many of you are going to go outside tonight and look out your window and see a toad just chilling in your fountain, that?
I mean, if you're Harry Claiborne, you might have one on the porch, but that's about it.
Yeah. But I've been experimenting with the other frogs too. I think I want to give it to the great tree frogs as well. But to answer your question, I have a tube from the old waterfall that's still in the tank.
Okay.
And that actually drains water out from towards the bottom.
Oh,
And that water runs down into another container, and then I could just take it out that way. Or I got to use a siphon and literally just get it out that way.
Yeah.
But that seems to be right now the only two options that I have at this moment. But yeah,
Okay.
the thunderstorms. So you'll probably like this. Um, I'm thinking every February we're gonna have we'll call it a takeover. We had the first one this year, and it's kind of like the idea of Frog Week, but instead of it being a week, it's the whole month of February, and there's a few long form videos, a lot of shorts, and it's just featured. It's the takeover of that show for the whole media brand. So in February, it was the first ever one. It was with the flagship show, and I talk about like advanced toad keeping, which, the ambient weather network, like the weather station, the soil moisture sensor, all that's in there. Even the vacuum, ironically, but yeah, a takeover for explaining some of the bigger concepts or bigger things, like a showcase. It's almost like this month we're showcasing the Woods Uncut, the name of the show, and it's going to feature the ants, it'll feature the toads, like all kinds of stuff. Uh, the enclosures are kind of like the United States. It's all these different individual states that come together to form one country. So you have the ant enclosure, you have the toads, you have the roach bin, and like all of this stuff, but they all need each other. Like the toads need to eat the ants and the roaches. The roaches are also important because they need to have a good diet for the other animals. And if the roaches die, then the ants break them down. The ants get to eat them. So it's like the roaches are eaten by two things, and then it's like on the flip side, if the ants die, could they potentially be a feeder for the roaches? Um, you have a lot to look at, and I'm also trying to experiment with like earthworms too, but colonizing all this stuff and showcasing that is what I'm actually going to do. Um, and we're gonna like really try to I think like drive that home coming up in 2027, because you're talking about also like future projects. That's one of them I want to
Yeah.
live to see. But yeah,
And honestly, and you're diving into the whole bioactivity of it. You know what I mean? You're taking bioactivity to a whole new level where it's not just catering to the amphibians at hand. It's you're replicating the PA ecosystem in a house, you know?
yeah,
So that's great, man.
yeah. Like right now is a good time. It's gonna sound really funny, but when it gets really dry, the leaves will start to shed off of the trees, and if the trees aren't like sprayed with anything, I found that that's really, really good. Like a lot of the insects, a lot of the other inverts, and even the toads love to hide in them. So, apple tree leaves and peach tree leaves, birch tree leaves, red buds, like all that stuff. Um, I don't know. I just think that uh, including some things in there, and like I'll get baggies of it and have it, and I could do a fresh leaf drop at different times. But the bioactivity, like you said, isopods and earthworms, like stuff breaking that down, it's really cool to get some of that stuff that it interacts with the animals in a way.
That's awesome. Absolutely awesome. Oh man. So what are we looking at show wise this week?
It's well, I mean the let's see here.
Are we still doing the episode a day?
Well, we're doing 2 episodes a day
Oh,
this week.
Okay.
And then there's going to be probably between, if you're on Instagram, maybe 5 to 6 shorts, 5 to 6 reels, YouTube as well. Realistically, Phil, I think we're around maybe 55 total forms of media this year.
Pumping it out, bro.
I think like that's why I was coughing, because I just ran myself to the ground. But yeah, like I think it's 14 episodes that are long form, about 30 shorts, and then there's been a few podcasts here and there, and like media, like news shows and stuff. So it's a good bit of content. This is the most content driven Frog Week we've ever had. I mean, we were talking when you were off about the mountain chorus frog, how special that is.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about the gray tree frog, I think for people to understand like the mountainous populations are really cool, because people don't really understand them like they do others. So that's like, that's a really special 2 counties worth of frogs. I'm very interested, and it's funny. I think it's fitting that we're talking about this here, but I'm very interested in trying to get the the Woods Uncut and the Wild Vivariums episodes that are Woods and Forest Media exclusive. So, if we're talking about me having two different hats, the nonprofit primarily uh, the Wild Frogs, that's them, but the shows that Woods and Forest Media puts on, I also get to end their seasons during Frog Week. That's how we've started it. Um, I would really like to see both of the shows wrap up and be competitive with some of the other episodes, because what that tells me is people are watching for that too. And if I'm taking these frogs and toads to classrooms for kids to learn about, I look at it, the same thing like on YouTube when their parents have a chance to watch it with them, or whoever has a chance to watch it with them. Like, why can't they be coming to watch that instead of
Yeah.
like just the wild frogs? So, the idea of including the ambassador animals is at first it started out controversial. I think we talked about that the first year I was
Right.
on, but I think it's just become a no-brainer and a necessity now for people to
Yeah.
see that.
Yeah, I think it's great. And I've noticed a lot more social media content urging people, downright begging people to be more proactive in wildlife community type stuff. And I feel like this is just one more great thing to put out there.
Yeah.
And I feel like every year more and more people fall in love with this stuff, and it goes back to that old cute and cuddly theory of people only want to help and or save what's cute and cuddly. So if we can show them how cute and cuddly they are and how necessary they are, then they're more apt to even just share it on Instagram.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of the idea, about Frog Week too. If people see something that's kind of rare or like if it's kind of unique, and or let's say they are aware that it's a sensitive animal and it's living on their property or in their backyard, seeing those communities come together to actually care about it, take care of it, protect its secret. If somebody's out there trying to do something stupid, these people might actually take action. And that's what you want whenever you leave a community, knowing that like that's they're championing that, like that's something that means something to them. Their kids are going to learn, they're going to grow up and say, we take care of these animals around here. Like when they grow up, then they're going to take care of animals. So it's impacting the next group of conservationists and herpetologists. And like I said, college to kindergarten. I mean, I'm trying to go after all of these students, so that way they end up, growing up and making an impact and caring about the animals.
Yeah, man. Hook them while they're young.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome stuff, man. Awesome stuff.
Knowing that there's cool stuff right in your own backyard, you ain't got to go far.
Yeah. That's the best, man. That's the best.
Well, imagine being a kid and somebody that you've never heard of comes to your area and your parents are excited to see them, and they say, "Hey, you have a secret," and like none of the other kids have this. Like that makes you feel cool, that makes you feel special. But then you say, "Hey, like if you talk about this with the wrong person, like it might not be here anymore." Like that's a cool thing for a kid to have that experience. Some of the kids have had that experience, and I think it's left a good impact, but I don't know. I just think that that's really what we're aiming for, is to get families and kids excited about these animals and want to care about them.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Tell them if they're not careful, Dr. Horton will come and take it from you.
That's right.
Is there thoughts? Yeah, right. With the trucker hat on. Is there thoughts to expand to regional chapters of some kind?
It's a good question. I've had some people ask me even about other states. So
Yeah. It's kind of what I was driving at, but yeah, it's good.
Yeah. So I think that there's probably somebody who's living in South Carolina, probably somebody who's living in Florida. It might be you two guys even, but you guys know how important where you live is to yourselves. Like you probably love where you live. You're probably passionate about it. You care about it, especially like, Justin, you're talking about living on the island and how important it is to you about snakes even on that island. So is it really that like I come to a location, maybe even southeastern Pennsylvania, that's a 6-hour car ride. So if I go out there, like how much of an impact am I going to have only for a couple of trips? If I do 2 a year, or if I come to Florida one time every other year or something, like how much of an impact? Yeah, I'll make an impact that night. But in terms of you guys who are actually living there, I feel like that's where, you know, it's something that I think anybody can get into and want to conserve. It doesn't have to be a Frog Week Arizona chapter or Frog Week Miami chapter, or West
Yeah.
Palm or whatever. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
yeah, I think that it's more important for people who live in the communities to actually want uh, to be the stewards of the land, because somebody who's living in Pennsylvania trying to tell you what's best for the animals in Miami or
Right.
down in Florida, I only
Yeah.
have a, kind of a perception of what it is, but you're seeing it live, like
Sure.
what's happening.
Oh yeah.
So it's not. And what's funny is, like, especially as somebody in media, that's probably the exact opposite answer that they would give you realistically, because they'd say, "Oh yeah, I could do all these specials and make some shows," but at the end of the day, like, if it's about the animals, then we got to think like, what's the most responsible and realistic approach? And if I want to see a change, or I want to see an animal survive, I want to trust somebody who lives near it to take care of it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, just then it gives it the the staying power, and there's consistency on a timeline, and it's just makes more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like
Absolutely.
that's almost like having rental properties when you live like across the country.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It'd be like if Phil bought an apartment up here and he came up here one time a year. Like,
Yeah. It's not
yeah,
the same.
it's not the same.
It's not the same. Have you thought about doing some kind of, I don't want to be cliche and say like starter packet, or like some kind of material to, if someone wants to do something similar to what you're doing in their area, I don't want to say a template, but a pamphlet or brochure or digital packet to get them going in their neck of the woods. Is that something you looked at?
It's a good question. So I haven't really been approached by anybody to want to do what we're doing, in like one for one, but I wouldn't
Sure.
be opposed to helping anybody out. I think
Yeah.
that we have a lot of stuff laid out on our website, but what I would say too, we're an organization that doesn't own land. I mean, we own whatever they want us to build, I guess. We're a part owner or something, like land manager, whatever you want to call us, I guess. But um, realistically, our organization doesn't own land. And that's like what is kind of counterproductive for a nonprofit. So I don't know how many other nonprofits would want to do that, because you have to have a really good reputation in the community to do this with different counties, and you have to have a lot of good uh, partners, or else it's not really going to work. So that's a lot harder, for somebody, I think, just getting started. Not that they couldn't do it, but it'd be more likely somebody wants to own land and approach us and say, "Hey, how could I bring attention to conservation with it?" Um,
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody is interested in and they want to go over stuff, I'd be more than happy to talk to them. And I
Cool,
think
man.
that
Well, what about like starting, not necessarily starting, but like having some sort of program that you can set like scout troops up with locally.
Yeah.
It's like a summer project or something similar, where you're not necessarily having to like be hands on with it for the entirety necessarily, but like basically, hey, here's what you'll do, and here's what you're hoping to see and expect, and
Yeah. Yeah. Criteria for said merit badge, or criteria for, local, urban youth group or whatever, church group, something.
I think we're a little bit away from that, to be honest with
Okay.
you.
You're just spitballing.
Yeah, I think we're a little bit. There's a little bit of a distance right now, because um, I think that the troops, like, to get in with like a scout troop, or um, a school, or different things. And we have interns, so we are in with schools. But um, I guess if they were going to help us build a habitat, it's really at the mercy of the landowner. So I've designed our website with all of the material to look kind of like a Red Lobster menu. How like a lot of older people point and say, "I want that, I want that."
Oh
I
yeah,
want...
yeah.
So that's kind of the idea behind our habitat build is like
I'll take 2 vernal pools and a bog, please.
yeah. I mean, honestly though, yeah, that is what's happening. And yeah, I mean, I think that that's probably how we would do it for the habitats. I mean, it's more of a made to order type of a habitat than it is like gonna be the exact same across the board. So that's kind of hard. Um, in terms of projects too, so like these interns that I have, they could just do field work and office work, but realistically, after Frog Week, I'm gonna have an assignment that I'd like for them to do where they reflect on their whole experience. You know, what they provide could potentially maybe leave the blueprint for what we look for next in an intern, or what we could do better, or what their favorite thing or least favorite thing was. And they have to watch Frog Week. They have to report on different things, but also reporting on the field work and the outreach. But I would think that next year or the next time I get interns, there might be some things a different way. So I'm not necessarily sure yet that I have perfected a blueprint, but I think that's an interesting way to put it up.
Yeah.
I think that's an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah. Food for thought for the future.
I don't know. It just seems like, so being a parent of a middle schooler, like they don't really do summer reading anymore, at least at the the school that she attends. So she doesn't. I want her to do stuff other than be in front of a screen.
Yeah.
So like, I'm sure there's other parents that are want their kids to be outside and do more outdoorsy, nature-y related things. So maybe not even necessarily going as far as like the scouts route, but like, hey, parents, if you want something for your kid to do that isn't attached to an electronic, here's a blueprint for something cool you guys can set up together, or they can do, and you have them report back what they've found over a certain period of time, and then you guys give them a T-shirt or something, or I don't know.
One thing we're doing,
there's a million routes you could go.
Yeah, I mean, I have a friend and I, like, we've been going to these different festivals up here, and it's like a dime toss. So you like get a dime into like a coffee mug and you just take it home. I probably have a few hundred now. We get competitive with it, but anyway, we're trying to get those coffee mugs for kids so that way we can like make DIY bee houses. So that would be an idea of like what you're saying. It just takes a minute to either you have to buy a lot of coffee mugs and they're overpriced. I mean, you can go to the, thrift store to go get some, or you can make some fun with it and bring your friends out and go to some festivals and win some. I mean, but anyway, all joking aside though, that is something that we're looking into, is like the bee houses. So that you might have given us maybe the blueprint to move forward with things.
That's cool.
I don't know. I just, like I said, I know there's other parents out there like myself and my wife that are like, there's not a lot to do in my town, frankly, for kids. Like, there's really not a whole lot going on. And if it's something that like I could genuinely get her interested in, like a bee house, bat house, even like an owl house, like frog pond stuff, etc. Like it'd be, and obviously something like that surely exists somewhere, but to have something that's specific for like what you guys are doing, more catered towards like what you're aiming to accomplish with the the habitats and things like that. I don't know.
That would be an interesting idea if we build habitats, giving them a list of things that they can enjoy with it. That's an interesting idea.
Because if I didn't know you and if Phil had sent me a link and said, hey, these guys at PA Woods and Forest are doing this thing where you can you get a blueprint for a vernal pool in your own backyard or something, the entire household would be really pretty stoked about that, especially me and my wife, because she's big on birds and stuff, and I'm big on herps, and so it'd be something we could do as a group.
Yeah.
Well, I could definitely report that. I could definitely brainstorm that with some folks and see what we come up with. So that's a good idea. Yeah, I like that idea a lot.
The gears are always turning in old Smitty's brain.
Cogs.
They're rusty, and they're trying. They manage to get me there sometimes. But or you just do like a cigar festival and tell the kids to come out and smoke for conservation.
Yeah, man. Smokey the Bear, but it's just it's a black bear instead of a brown one.
Like an old rundown Chuck E. Cheese mascot costume.
Yeah, he's just got a big fat stogie. He's just like
I forgot that. Yeah, didn't the original Chuck E. Cheese guy have that?
Yeah,
a cigar.
Cool. Yeah,
I think
really?
he did.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Welcome to the Rat House and Kid Casino.
He's like, "Welcome to Chuck's."
I'm Charles in charge.
Nice. Welcome to Chuck's. That's good.
Give me your money, kid. I'll give you some gold doubloons for you to get nothing in return for.
What's the matter, kid? You never had a PBR?
I can imagine the guy at this, like the SpongeBob episode at the Salty Spittoon with the mom tattoo. Be like, "How tough are you, kid?"
Just a side note, completely unrelated. Have you seen now that with the lower back tattoos are no longer tramp stamps? They are cake toppers. Have you seen this on the gram? Yep. And the running joke is, well, you have to have cake to have a topper. I digress.
The internet rarely disappoints.
Nah, rarely.
It's not going to this week. I can assure you that.
Yeah. So we're at the 2-hour mark. Can we let the listeners who are still here and eager to chomp at the toad bit, as they say, where can people watch this amazing content?
Well, I want to thank you guys for being here and also watching to the end, whoever's here. If you want to check out Frog Week, I would definitely head over to the Woods and Forest Media YouTube channel, because that's where all of the shorts, all of the long form videos are going to be. There's literally a playlist for Frog Week 2026. I have like the home screen laid out where kind of it breaks down by the show, and I have that first. So if you actually wanted to watch Frog Week, you could do that. You could literally type in Frog Week 2026 and might pop up that way. But realistically, yeah, come to the Woods and Forest Media YouTube channel to watch it. There's going to be a lot of content coming out this week. Like I said, if there's like 50 some videos, shorts and long form combined, and special guest appearances like this, I mean, there's a lot of stuff.
Awesome. That's fantastic.
One of the videos is just Phil talking about the glory of Fiji water.
Yeah. It's so crisp and refreshing.
Your pH is off.
Yes.
Those people at Cleveland would hate you. I'm just saying. Hey, do you know about that? Like, have you
No.
ever? Yeah, you got to look up the city of Cleveland versus Fiji. That was
happened?
a wild. Well, Fiji Water made a joke.
Synopsis, yeah.
They said that it's not Cleveland tap water or whatever, and the Ohioans got very upset. So then they started testing the Fiji water, and they found arsenic in it. And it's like, well, there's arsenic because it's run through the rocks, like it's run through different things. So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of funny. The city of Cleveland, the municipality of Cleveland, and Fiji Water have a rivalry, if you didn't know.
Oh, I gotta look that up.
Don't be a Cavalier fan and drink Fiji water.
I gotta deep dive that one.
They can't go well together.
Any press is good press, I guess, for them.
Yeah.
Not that there's not a whole lot going for them right now currently, so they gotta stay in the public eye somehow or another.
Man, they lost LeBron. They lost Johnny Football. I don't know what they got.
Yeah, it was a crapshoot ever since the Drew Carey show.
I would say too, I'm really excited. Maybe even in February, whenever I have that takeover for the Toad tank, it might be interesting to come back and share that with you guys, because I think that would be a lot of fun to talk about that specifically, because that's where, I showed you the soil moisture sensor. We might get into more of the advanced stuff of what
Yeah.
I'm actually doing within the tanks.
Yeah, it sounds great, man.
Yeah.
We'll we'll prep some videos and pictures and graphs, and we'll do it up.
Charts.
Charts.
I have a very quick redaction from the last episode, courtesy of Gabe Schuler. Eric Good, who is doing the documentary that is coming out on HBO in 2 weeks, that I will not get into because I'm sure we've all heard about it by now.
Yep.
I mentioned something about him being involved with the Eternal Survival Alliance, and he is not. He has his own thing. So
Okay.
I'm not even going to mention that either, but he has nothing to do with TSA. I
Okay.
don't even remember exactly what I said about him being involved in TSA, but he is not.
Okay.
Apparently, there is a very large amount of space placed between the two
Well, that's good to know.
on TSA's part. So
Good to know.
Can I read it? Not that, but like the Cleveland versus Fiji, I found it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, go for it.
All right, straight out of the AI Google's mouth. Fiji water versus Cleveland tap water is a famous feud sparked by a 2006 Fiji water ad that had the slogan, "The label says Fiji because it's not bottled in Cleveland." Cleveland's water department retaliated by testing both, finding that the city's tap water had no measurable arsenic, whereas the Fiji bottle contained 6.31 micrograms of arsenic per liter. While Fiji water was quick to note that its arsenic levels were well within the FDA regulations, the irony made headlines. Independent evaluations, such as those reported by Cleveland19.com, have generally shown that both Cleveland's municipal water and major bottled waters like Fiji are completely safe to drink, though tap water remains significantly cheaper.
Wow.
Yeah. Cleveland versus Fiji.
Could be Dasani.
Yeah. Find a dead deer in a pond and figure out that's where they're scooping
Dude,
the water out.
Dasani makes you more thirsty. Have you ever
It's
noticed that?
It has a sodium
They
content.
add salt to it, and it makes you thirstier. It does not. Like, I stopped with Dasani a long time ago. Like, I noticed when I drank it, I was like, why am I thirstier than when I drank this thing? And as you look at the label, and they legitimately add, like, it's got salt in it. Like, they've added salt to it.
See, now Phil is looking it up too. Phil's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe it."
No, I had to find this out for myself. According to the National Institutes of Health, NIH.gov, arsenic toxicity. So, how many micrograms were in the Fiji?
631
micrograms.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know how many micrograms is potentially lethal to a human?
How many?
180,000.
Oh, we're good then.
Little bit, a little dabble do you?
Yeah.
It's not bad to have a little bit of arsenic roaming around in there with everything else we've got. I mean,
exactly.
If anything, it's just making you stronger.
Yeah, I've smoked worse.
A little bit of lead, a little bit of mercury, a little bit of arsenic, maybe throw some formaldehyde in there.
Yep.
Makes you stronger.
It's also
Darwinism, and it's working.
It's good. It's when you pour your Fiji water into your uranium glass cup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you got from the thrift store.
Yeah.
You said formaldehyde. There's an air purifier I want to get that takes that out of the air too. That's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of crazy stuff we can get into. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't think I have formaldehyde in my air.
I was going to say, do you live in like a funeral home?
No, but it would just be kind of cool to just get out anything that you possibly could from the air, like pull out whatever.
Yeah.
What if you got one of those and turned it on, and then you woke up the next morning and like the tank's got like an inch of formaldehyde in it, and you're like, oh my god.
It's like I wake up and feel good. I'm like, oh, I guess there really is formaldehyde in here. I need to do something. That'd be the one way to look at it.
Man, oh man.
Well, this episode was brought to you by FullFaceApparel.com. Daytona pickup. Daytona will be here before we know it. We are less than a month away.
Crazy.
I cannot freaking wait.
Stoked.
I got jury duty early next month. It better not last long. I will go to jail for failure to appear.
You should just postpone it.
Yeah, that's what I'll
You
do.
know?
Call up the municipal court and be like, this isn't gonna work for me.
No, there's a way that you can be like, okay, I'm bumping this till like next month or whatever. I'm
It's like
pretty sure.
it's like the third or something. It's not.
Okay.
I doubt it'll. Assuming I even get picked and assuming it doesn't get settled
Yeah.
before.
Just tell them you're extremely biased.
Tell him that's your brother.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm related to him.
Yeah.
I tried that once. Funny story. First time I got jury duty, I was like, because I have a bunch of cop friends here in the city and the county, right? And so I was like, I can't because I Danielle Klein, who goes to Daytona, makes fun of me about this all the time. She's probably listening, but I told the judge, this is not my finest moment. Okay, I'm not proud of it. Not ashamed of it. I'm not proud of it. It is what it is. I told the judge, it's like, I can't be a juror because I think like a cop.
Nice. And
the freaking eye roll that I got from that judge, I thought his eyes were just going to permanently like flip in the back of his head. And he was like, okay, well, we still need people for civil. So it just got moved to a civil case instead of like a criminal one. So it's like, shit.
nice. The one time I haven't yet had jury duty, I got pulled into the room and you're in front of everybody, right? And there's like 30 or 40 people and they're asking, you have to fill out this little questionnaire thing in my county. And it was a DUI case. And I'm going to be very cliche and just say that this individual probably had DUI. Just judging a book by its cover, this individual probably guilty. And they flat out asked her, like, is there any reason why you think you can't be a juror for this? And I was like, well, I am actively engaged and work with law enforcement.
I'm drunk right now.
Yeah. I drove here. No.
I drove here and I'm hammered.
Yeah. And the judge was like, so you're biased towards law enforcement? I was like, it's like, so you're biased towards law enforcement? I was like, yeah. I'm like, okay, thank you. You may leave. I'm like, cool.
I don't know. I tried it. It didn't work. Right. I thought that judge, I feel like if he could have smacked the shit out of me right then and there, he would have. It was like, after I saw it, I was like, yeah, that was dumb. Why did I do that?
Nice. All right.
I'm just happy I survived this. Like I didn't think I was going to come in here to fight for my life tonight, but
you're good, man. You're good.
I made it through.
Switch to Fusion.
Yeah. Cold-blooded caffeine. Check them out. Use the code SMOKE at checkout.
Pinky's out.
Get 10% off. Get that Sneaks and Stogies blend or any of the other incredible offerings that they have. That if you're a coffee connoisseur, you have to check out. You can't just get the Starbucks stuff at Publix or whatever grocery store and be like, I like coffee. Like, no, you got to go to Cold-Blooded Caffeine. You got to get the Snakes and Stogies blend. And then you'll really like coffee because it's good coffee. That's not been sitting in a bag for 6 months or however long they bag it for. Burnt.
Yeah.
Oily. Gross.
Well, I just saw some ad. It was like average grocery store packaged coffee was roasted 9 months in advance before you bought it. Something like that.
That doesn't surprise me. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So
great.
Check it out. We might be back Thursday, might be back Wednesday. I have to get with Phil King and ask him. So we'll figure something out again, like every week. We might be here, we might not. I don't know. We go where the wind takes us.
Chris Edge just said he almost croaked. Get it? ...
Go to bed, Sanchez.
God. We love you, Sanchez.
Get out of here.
I have a frog in my throat. I'm sorry. I was trying to get it out the
whole time. There it is. Oh, man. On that note,
I'm feeling froggy. I want to go to bed.
Nice.
One time I gave an earwig nicotine, or caffeine. It was caffeine, I promise. It's coffee grounds.
Nice.
Long story short, they're probably going to be a feeder too.
Okay.
It was caffeine, not nicotine.
Okay. No,
Give them both. That's what I do.
earwig
Survive.
tweaking out.
Turn to black.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Moved 5 times speed.
That sounds healthy. All right.
Good night.
Bye.